working on your art and craft, what's the day like? What do you have to do to look after your voice day in, day out? Is there something or is it just, sorry, go ahead.
The voice is like my instrument, and it's not like I can take out my violin and just put it back in the box. Its voice is in my body, so I have to take care of my body. Now, I don't go to the gym. I'm not one of these people that keep physically in good nick, I would say. I let myself go a little bit.
We all have our challenges.
I look after my voice. I look after the muscle itself.
Yeah.
I sing every day. I drink enough water. I get enough sleep. I'm constantly working on different things and trying out new things. There's even things that I would never sing in public that I sing a lot of in private at home in my music room here. Just trying it out to see how much I can stretch the voice and how much I can push myself, even though I wouldn't sing it.
And do you have a mentor or somebody that aids you in that direction?
I did before, but now I've learned the craft so much that I'm able to I don't need a singing teacher anymore, because I've learned everything that I need to know about singing. I know everything about the technique and everything like that because I've lived it. Yeah. I've lived it for a long time. So
how do you find learning a lot of Italian songs you sing and stuff like that? How do you find the language?
Oh God, it's hard.
I'd say that. Yeah.
It's hard, but it's just repetition, and it goes in after a while. I speak Irish, English, French, German, and a tiny bit of Italian. I was better at it years ago when I was younger. But I just have to learn everything phonetically. I translate everything so I know exactly what I'm singing about. I need to know where the inflections are of the language. I have to learn, but it's difficult because you have to learn everything off by heart. Not only the music and the words, you have to know the orchestration off by heart. You have to know what
the intricacy. When I was kind of looking into the kind of stuff you do, what really struck me was the intricacy of the pieces. So there's like certain places where you go up, there's certain places where you stop, there's certain places where you go down. It's like it's so like technical for me anyway.
Yeah. That's why it's important to have these rehearsals before shows, because the rehearsals, you're linking your memory, which you've worked on by yourself, or worked with a pianist with regard to learning the music, and you're linking that muscle memory with action on the stage, and then that's much easier, because then you can break everything down and go, okay, when I'm over at the table, I sing this part, and then I go to the part, and so you've got the physical thing, which is a trigger, and that helps a lot too.
That's especially in operas and stuff where you're actually acting as well as singing, so you kind of have certain movements on stage.
Yeah, that does help a lot, because if you're standing there and you're reciting 3 hours of music, that's difficult.
Would it be fair to break down two kind of events or shows that you can do, like that you do at the moment? And that's one is opera, where you're acting and you're moving around the stage, and the other one is reciting, as you say, where you're just performing songs.
Yeah, like concerts. I love concerts, because when I'm singing concerts, I'm myself. I'm Celine Byrne from Cara, and I'm just actually using my art form, which is my voice, to entertain people. But it's me effectively giving the concert, and I get to chat to the audience and talk to the audience. When I'm doing an opera, I'm essentially somebody else, because I'm playing a role.
Yeah,
I'm playing a character, so I immerse myself into a different person. It's like
what I'd like to know is how you relate to acting as an art form, and how much of opera is acting.
A lot of opera is acting, because it is a drama set to music. That's what it is. That's what opera is. It's just like, I've seen you do things, and I can see sometimes that you're own, and then I see sometimes that you're totally immersed into the character when you're doing your monologues and when you're doing your poetry. And it's fascinating to see you, like, as an artist, perform, and to see little bits of your personality coming through, and then other times you're totally lost in the character, and the character is so strong.
And do you find that you get lost in characters sometimes when you're on stage?
Oh God, yeah, especially characters that do things that I would never do.
Like that Mimi character. Did you do that recently? Was it Mimi? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, I like Mimi. I think it's very easy for me to sing that role, because I've seen it so many times that I really don't have to. I never worry about singing Mimi, because I just have to step on the stage, open my mouth, and kind of everything works. Then there's other roles like Butterfly and everything that I'm scared shitless off before I go on stage because I'm like, oh my God, I have to get through Act 2. And you're only going on for the start and you're worried about Act 2 and you haven't even sung Act 1 yet.
Yeah.
And you're worried about that high note and you're like, oh my God, when it comes to that, okay, oh God. And
Yeah.
you know, you're kind of, because you don't know what can happen on stage and you can't take for granted that you're not, sometimes I get caught up in the passion of it and I give so much that when it comes to the parts that need, I don't have anything left. So I have to be careful how to pace myself. I learned that the hard way as well because I nearly died one time when I went out because I thought I was out of breath by the time I came to the end of the phrase and I was like, oh no. But anyway.
And are you while you're singing, are you constantly thinking about what's going on in that character's head while you're singing, or what's going on?
Yeah. You have to be careful of that as well because if you get too wrapped up in the emotion, you're not concentrating enough on singing, and you need to concentrate on singing because at the end of the day, that's what an opera is.
So tell us about this Puccini fella. This Puccini fella must have your heart broken, is it?
Yeah. Puccini, a wonderful composer. He wrote so well for the female voice and he wrote amazingly for orchestras. He was a great orchestrator and all his roles are wonderfully written. And I played a lot of his roles, but they're all very tragic. Like Mimi, she dies of consumption. Butterfly takes her own life by head off with a samurai sword.
She chopped her head off. Jesus.
Yeah. And then you have Tosca who decides to take her own life by going on top of a building and jumping off it. Then you got Liu who stabs herself. So there's a lot of...
it sounds like one of the Irish plays you'll do. Play by the Western world or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of tragedy in these.
So speaking of the Irish stuff, Celine, I mean, you must be aware of the sean-nós tradition and all the different traditions here in Ireland. Is there something in sean-nós tradition that you'd like to try or...
I love it. I love it. It's a different style of singing, and then it's it's actually more difficult than it sounds because it's not just using your natural voice, but me having trained classically.
Yeah,
I have to kind of take the vibrato off and make it more pure white sound.
Okay, I get you.
But I love Irish music, and but sean-nós is not something that I have been immersed in, and I think it's a tradition, and you can't just. I mean, there are people that jump in and learn it, but it's something
like me.
You have to live with it. It has to be in your soul.
And I think it's the even the regional dialects are different. So like I was learning some sean-nós songs from a famous sean-nós singer from Connemara. Her name was Nan Tom Tommy in the Burka, and she was really, really strict on how I pronounce certain words and stuff like that. You know. Yeah,
well, that's good. That's good training. But I'll err on the side of caution and always go for the Munster Irish.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know. You were better at Irish in school than I was, so.
Oh, I love languages. You see, that's the thing. I think it's because I've always been musical that I love languages. Like I have to say, I'm crap at maths, and physics was. Even though I did physics, I chose physics in secondary school because I thought I wanted to be a mechanic.
Oh, we all made mistakes in secondary school. I choose. Yeah. I think I was doing woodwork at one point. I had no chance.
Yeah, I don't know why I did that, but anyway, however.
So what was it like performing in Dublin with Bocelli? Because I was looking at that video there on YouTube. Jesus, I had the hair was sticking up in the back of my neck, you know.
It was great. Very. I would say it was brilliant because on the outside looking in, it was like, you know, we sang very well together. The performance was really good and everything like that. But to be honest, he wasn't very. I would say collegial. He wasn't
hashtag scandal.
He wasn't really a great colleague, as in we were supposed to rehearse and I was doing the rehearsals without him because he was flying in late and then got his helicopter to bring him from the airport to the Point Depot, or not the Point Depot, what's called now, Three Arena.
Three Arena, yeah.
And then he just kind of arrived, sang one song, then went to his dressing room, you know. There was not much chat. There wasn't much. I
seen him at one point whispering in your ear. Was he telling you what next song was or something? Or
yeah, he was. Yeah.
Okay.
He was telling me what next, and he told me, like, you know, don't be nervous. And I thought, hello, I'm actually not nervous. I'm loving this. I'm not nervous.
Get your shit together, Andrea.
I think he thought that, you know, it was a wonderful opportunity for me to sing with him.
Yeah. Well, it sounded amazing.
And it was. Of course it was. But at the same time. Yeah, like, I mean, I've sung with Jose Carreras, who's amazing, who would actually, do you know what I mean? a real old school gentleman who would like put down his coat on a puddle for you to walk on, really lovely guy, so you meet people like that as well, where people go out of their way for you, and then there's other people that you work with.
Speaking of people that can kind of bring your art up to a higher level, you're doing some workshops down in Wexford. Are you doing them, or is it cancelled? Or
no, it's not cancelled, because even with stage 3 lockdown, it's just me and a pianist, and it's going out on live stream and on Lyric FM as well.
That's a great idea.
So it's grand. So it's always been that way. With the whole festival was designed around the pandemic in relation to having an audience.
And what was the idea with the Dinner with Celine Byrne thing? Was that people in the audience, or?
No, so it's a dinnertime recital. So effectively what it used to be every year in Wexford was a lunchtime recital. But because you can't get into any of the churches or put on anything indoors, because the opera house is kind of like private as such, we'll put it on in the evening and have an evening time recital. But Lovely. She just called it a dinner time because it's normally a lunchtime. So it's kind of stay on that. But it's just an hour-long recital. It'll be on Lyric FM.
Right. And what day is that?
Monday. It's live, so you don't have to pay to subscribe on YouTube. You just subscribe. Click the button, subscribe.
I think if people can go to the Wexford Opera Festival website, they'll find it there as well.
Yeah, or on YouTube. Yeah.
Brilliant, Celine. And it's been a pleasure talking to you today. And hopefully now we'll have a big audience in Cara Community Centre very soon.
Fabulous.
A festival of opera.
Yeah, fantastic. Wow.
Put Cara on the map.
Go on, yeah, good thing.
All right, Celine. Good.
Bye, thank you. Slán.
Thank you. Bye.
Rosie was born by the roadside, somewhere in County Kildare.
I think it's all over. It is, and Kildare are the champions. Champions for the first time in 42 years.
And it's the red I will repair
to the Cora of Kildare.
Kildare Speaks with Fia Rua.